And is taking the world by storm with their charming good looks, happy-go-lucky attitudes, and sweet as sugar on-screen performances.
These stars are grown in the Kang laboratory right here in sunny San Diego.
Joining us on our show today is a renowned expert who holds a bachelor's in human and animal sciences, a PhD in arrogance, and a minor in cloudy ethics.
So, we'd like to introduce genetic scientist Dr. Jason Kang. Dr. Kang, thank you for welcoming us into your laboratory today.
No problem. Yes, this is my laboratory. I work from home.
So, Dr. Kang, you've been called a scientific genius for your work in genetic engineering that has produced dozens of perfect twins just right for Disney shows. Will you tell us a bit about your operations? Are the stars we see on TV really made here?
Yes, they're grown and engineered here. Here we develop them so that they have perfect singing and dancing capabilities, even posing for photos. After they reach a desired size, we send them back to the networks, where they're put in TV shows, movies, musicals, and anything that the networks want for them.
Now this seems like quite a process you have here. How long does it take to create one of these stars?
Well, actually, not that long. You see, for every creation, we start with the exact same DNA sequence. And from then, I only have to tweak minor details like hair color or the shade of white of their skin.
That's incredible. Now, when I was walking in, I noticed a row of doors. Can you tell me what was behind those doors?
Well, they're operating rooms, but they can be more characterized as maintenance rooms. After being taken up by the networks, the stars periodically return for operations such as facelifts, Botox injections, and other top-secret procedures.
Sounds like a middle-aged woman's dream. Now, how much success have you seen with your projects?
Well, my success was initially very good, but after a few years, I began noticing that if all my creations achieved perfection, then the market would be oversaturated and the demand for my work would decrease. So I began to develop an economic model for planned obsolescence.
How are you able to create this model of planned obsolescence?
Well, along with grafting the DNA of international movie stars and world-renowned singers into my creations, I began to also incorporate the DNA of my stoner neighbor to kill off any long-term motivation and career prospects. The first models that I began to use this with went a little overboard, and after a few years, they began exhibiting signs of hard drug use. Their failure was my great success.
So just to clarify, you're talking about putting expiration dates on these stars, am I right?
Essentially, that's what's happening. After the current stars expire, we create new ones to replace them.
So then, tell us about some of your earliest prototypes.
Well, for example, we have model number 50976, or commonly known to the public as Miley Cyrus.
I know Miley Cyrus. We saw a lot of her on Disney Channel. Girls loved her in Hannah Montana.
We also saw a lot more of her on the VMAs. Guys loved watching her on that as well.
Being an early model, I had not yet perfected my formula, causing her to be defective. See, the expiration date that I've devised now calls for the stars to fade away to the C-list or below. For example, Vanessa Hudgens executed that perfectly. On the other hand, Miley, well, we're still working on shutting her down.
So what would you say is the biggest challenge in running a lab that strives for such perfection? I mean, it must be a lot of pressure.
It is, and to answer that, let me show you my favorite part of the lab.
What's this part of the lab?
So sometimes people get on my case about the so-called ethics of my line of work. And other times I get upset when I get a failed project. This is where I go to cope, where I can return to a better place and be reminded of my greatest success of all. Justin Bieber.
Thank you for providing us with a wonderful insight into the inner workings of your creative thought process. It's been a real pleasure talking to you. Thanks for inviting us here today.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back with a look at the national Bond pandemic that has spread to Westview High School, overtaking the Ebola outbreak in terms of national concern. Don't forget to tune in after the break.